Hiya, my name's Chris and I'm from Langworthy Community Church in Salford, and today we're looking at the last three chapters of the prophecy of Zechariah, chapters 12, 13 and 14. And this contains some of the most stunning prophecies in the whole of the Hebrew Bible for us as Christians. And, we've already had in the king riding on a donkey, bringing salvation and all of that stuff, and that's really exciting. And here we have, in each of the chapters, we have amazing things. I'm going to go through them in reverse order, starting at the end. In chapter 14, we glimpse not only something that's in Zechariah's future, but also a time in our own future. So he talks about when the Lord will be king over the whole earth and all the nations will come and worship God. And so he looks forward to the end of this age, and you get echoes of the prophecies of Isaiah in Isaiah 65 and 66, and in the Christian New Testament you get the verses in Revelation, at the end of Revelation particularly, and so he kind of joins in that tradition of looking at what it'll be like when God puts the world to rights for good. But also in chapter 13 you get this narrative of a shepherd who is struck down, a shepherd who is slain, and of course that has all kinds of echoes in the New Testament descriptions of Jesus and what he said and what he did and what his role was, and how he was the good shepherd who was slain for us. But for me the most exciting bit and the most amazing bit is in chapter 12 verse 10. I'm just going to read it to you. God is speaking here, and God says, "They will look on me, the one they have pierced." They will look on me, the one they have pierced. And so for the Jewish mind of that day, they'd be thinking, how can anyone pierce God? God is spirit. God is not a human who can be pierced. But they will look upon God. Somehow God will be pierced. And then it says, and they will mourn. Okay, so maybe God's pierced somehow and people will mourn for it. But then it says, they will look upon me, the one they've pierced, and they will mourn for him. But who's him? And how will they mourn for him? As one mourns for an only child, and grieve bitterly for him, as one grieves for a firstborn son. And so all this way back in this prophecy from Zechariah, again Zechariah joins with Jeremiah and Isaiah and all the other people who end in Ayah and all of the other prophets, and he looks forward into the future to a time when somehow God will be pierced and people will mourn for him as one mourns for an only child, for a firstborn son.